What is up, Frugal Knots? Welcome back to FrugalBC, the channel that brings you the experiments in crypto and breaks it down nice and easy so you can understand it. I'm FrugalBC, and I've got a really great show for you today. I got a shorter number of items, but I think we're going to spend a little time on each one. It's been an interesting week. I actually took some time off. Oops, let me I took some time off this week. I was up north and just completely disconnected from from anything online for a good roughly 24 hours, and that felt good. I want to do more of that because it really helps me get my head clear. And I think it's a really good idea to just get away from the noise and get away from the markets. Stop thinking, touch some grass, as they say. Get a campfire going. All that's good. I know you're not here for that. You're here for all the Algorand news and updates and stuff. We got a lot of good stuff. Let's just talk about what we got coming up here. We got Unity, the game engine, is walking back its crazy fee structure after, well, quite a bit of backlash. I guess that doesn't really surprise anybody. I think everyone figured they were probably going to walk it back in some degree. Sounds like it's going to be a little better for indie game developers, so we'll dive into that. I'm going to make my bullish case for Algorand based on we're going to lead it off with some new news that Algorand sentiment is actually quite a bit higher than I expected. And I'm going to talk about that, plus some developments about why I've become very bullish on Algorand despite the market conditions lately. Some good news from Hedera. They are announcing a high yield savings account partnering with Freddie Mac. That is a great partnership. I'm very excited to see that. Basically, the high yield savings account would go towards a down payment on a first house. So if you're looking to get your first house, you could be doing it with some help from the Hedera Hashgraph. I like that. And what our biggest story this week is probably some big news around Townstar, the play to earn game that is still not earning. And I think everyone thought that earn being turned on was going to be the news. And well, earn kind of was part of the news, but not in a way most people thought. I don't think people were terribly happy about this. And we'll talk exactly about what is happening because I think it's kind of crazy. Who's all here? Everyday Algonaut, what is up, my friend? Good to see you here. And Christopher Sweener, welcome to the show. Good to see you here as well. What's going on? So, I want to give a big shout out to my sponsors. Before I do that, I am streaming today if some of you are probably watching from Twitter as well as YouTube. And I don't know how I guess I could pull it up on here. I don't want to spend a really long time doing this, but let me just pull this up really quick. I'm just kind of curious where it pops up. Oh yeah, there it is. There I am. It's working. Does it show me how many people? It says zero viewers on there, so I guess nobody's really watching. But I thought I'd try that out, just see how it worked on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. On my Restream dashboard, it still has a little blue birdie thing. Well, it's actually a white bird and a blue background, but you get the idea. So we're streaming on Twitter. We're going to try that out. Kick really wasn't doing much good for me. I don't know if Twitter will either, but we'll give it a shot. Otherwise, I do want to shout out my sponsors. A big shout out to NFD. You may know them. I really got to get this logo thing straightened out, which means I think I have to pay for the version of Restream or switch to StreamYard and pay for that one. I'm not sure, but big shout out to NFD. They just did some vaults, and on the vault, they if you set up your vault, they would send you some NFTs possibly. I don't think I got any. I think IRL did, so good for her, which is pretty cool. But yeah, super excited about NFT, so good for them. Check out non-fungible domains and get your .algo address today. And we are also brought to you by Taco Coin. That's right. I'm a big fan of Taco Coin. These guys are great. This is a crypto project that is supporting a food truck in Iowa, and it looks like he's got some other stuff in the works. So that is really, really cool. Thanks so much for their sponsorship. They help keep the show going, and it's very much appreciated. Okay, let's see who else is there. Waha says, thanks, bro, for the good work. I appreciate that, friend. And Jeffrey is here. He says, do you think the allure of DeFi has been lost over the past year or so? I'm quite concerned about smart contract cryptocurrencies being built to last. That's a really good question. And I think before we get into the top of the hour here, by the way, if you're not subscribed already, I think a lot of you in the chat already are, but if you're not subscribed, I appreciate if you hit the subscribe button and, of course, like button for the algorithms. As I always say, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. I'm trying to get my finger on screen. There we go. Yeah, just press it gently. And works the same way. And we'll tell everybody about how cool Algorand is and HBAR and all the other stuff we cover, because we really want to help spread the word. Yeah, I know the allure of DeFi has definitely rusted a bit for me, because I've been doing the experiment and it's so far proven what I thought, that a lot of times the volatility of the underlying coins is so great that even though you're getting these crazy percentages, you're losing more in the coin than you're gaining in the percentages. So far, the best one seems to be Algo US dollar coin, because at the end of the day, you just have US dollar coin, which is worth $1, and Algorand, which is the kind of the base coin anyway, which you're probably going to hang on to. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I'm using this ASA that I've never heard of, or that's, all of a sudden lost all this value, and now I'm stuck either holding it or hoping it comes back, or just taking a loss. Which with Algorand USD, you don't really have to worry about that. Folks, I think with folks with the US dollar coin would probably be a pretty good staking option. It might be one of your best bets, because you can just stake it there. The coin's going to be worth $1, and you're getting a percentage in order to lend it out to other people. So folks, I've actually thought about switching my Algorand allocation to folks, or leaving it alone and making a new one with just USD that's just for my personal use. And maybe I would talk about it on the experiment. So I don't know if you've seen all those, but I definitely recommend it. Waha. That's a tough one to pronounce. Says, Algorand a long-time investment, and how high do you think it would go? Yeah, well, I'm going to save that question, because that is actually one of our items today. We will be getting to that in a second. I'm going to give you my bullish case on Algorand and why I think it is a long-term investment. So I'm going to kind of giving away the juice a little bit, but I did say it was going to be a bullish case, so you understand where I'm probably going to go with it. Let's see. Let me just set up this first item here. So last week we talked about Unity and their crazy new fee structure that had all kinds of indie game developers very, very angry. By the way, before I move on, I want to apologize to Cosmic Champs. I had reached out to their CEO via email, but I should have probably reached out via Discord or some other method. I didn't hear back. I said I mentioned that I had I'd reached out to Maddie, because Maddie and I had gone back and forth, and I didn't get a response to that. So I don't know if I assume Matt's still over there. He was the founder, but it's possible he's not with the company anymore either. I never heard back from Matt. And I was kind of surprised, because we had quite a relationship. He's actually, and I've disclosed that before, he has sent me NFTs as a thank you for content. Now, I want to be clear. I made it clear when I accepted that would not shape my objectivity in any way, and that he needed to be clear. We needed to be clear about that before I would accept it. And he was cool with that, but I did want to make that clear. But anyway, yeah, Cosmic Champs is a game that would have been affected. Fractal Monsters, I spoke very extensively with Dev Fracas, the founder of Fractal Monsters. We talked about that. And I also spoke with Jim from Aegir Tactics. They are on Unreal Engine, not Unity, but they obviously are knee deep in this as well, and they knew a lot of stuff. So everybody is very concerned about this. This would have affected, a lot of developers were worried that once they got to a certain point, they were basically going to be losing money. Well, Unity has since, obviously they got a ton of backlash, including a Penguins Zero video, which we played last week, which is a pretty big channel, about 13 million subscribers, went out to a lot of people. Unity heard this and they've walked it back. So let's just see what they said. All right, so this is on their blog. This is an open letter to our community from Unity. And remember, the reason we're talking about this is because this impacts a lot of Web3 games, including in the Algorand space. It says lead Unity Create, which includes the Unity engine and editor teams. I want to start with this. I'm sorry. We should have spoken with more of you, and we should have incorporated more of your feedback before announcing a new runtime fee policy. Our goal with this policy is to ensure we can continue to support you today and tomorrow and keep deeply investing in our game engine. You are what makes Unity great, and we know you need to listen. We know we need to listen, to work hard, earn your trust. We have heard your concerns, and we are making changes to the policy we announced to address them. So, our Unity personal plan will remain free, and there will be no runtime fee for games built on Unity personal. We will be increasing the cap from 100,000 to 200,000, and we will remove the requirement to use the Made with Unity splash screen. Actually, I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think that's pretty standard to have like those kind of splash screens. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't know, maybe it bothers the developers, but that seems like pretty minor. I'm familiar with Unity partially because they do that, so I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but maybe that's something they asked for. I don't know. I didn't see that. No game with less than 1 million in trailing 12-month revenue will be subject to the fee. So I think that's fair. I think once you're making $1 million over a course of a year in revenue, I think you can probably handle the fee. For those creators on Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise, we are also making changes based on your feedback. Runtime fee policy will only apply beginning with the next LTS version of Unity shipping in 2024 and beyond. Your games are currently shipped and the projects you are currently working on will not be included unless you choose to upgrade them to this new version of Unity. And Dev Fracas told me that they are actually using the 2021 version, so they are safe for now anyway, even if they hit that amount. We'll make sure that you can stay on terms applicable for the version of Unity editor you are using, as long as you keep that version. Interesting. I gotta think at some point though they're gonna force you to upgrade, because I just don't think at some point they're just gonna get out of date. You're just only gonna support old software so long before you're gonna switch it. So I'd be a little leery about that if I was a game developer. But we'll see. For games that are subject to the runtime fee, we are giving you a choice of either 2.5% revenue share or the calculated amount based on the number of new people engaging with your game each month. Both of these numbers are self-reported from data you already have available. You will always be billed a lesser amount. And apparently they're going to have a fireside chat that said today, so that already happened. That was the 22nd. So what was that, Friday? That was Friday. Yeah. So Friday, they basically said, they kind of walked it back, which I think this was a positive development. I think this was a good move, and I'm glad they listened to the creators. They probably should have done that early on. But, sometimes you just got to get slapped in the face a little bit. They may have already anticipated that too. Sometimes I know when someone wants to do something that's going to be unpopular, they'll announce something that's even worse, and then they can look like the good guys by walking it back a little. So that might have been what happened here. Again, I don't know how many games this would have affected. I believe Cosmic Champs and Fractal Monsters they weren't affected yet. Fractal Monsters wasn't affected yet. They only had about 20,000 users, so I don't think they had enough users to meet the goal at the time, but I think this will probably be a good development for the new one. Let's see if I just want to look at a little reaction. I thought I saved some reaction. I don't know if I did or not. Yeah, we got the noon siren going on. That's fun. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, so let's take a look at some reaction to the news. All right, open letter to the community. Personuo says it looks good, but I don't understand all of it. Are Unity Personal and Unity Pro also 2.5 rev share? If so, I have Unity Pro at all. The 2.5 rev share is not a separate thing to the runtime fee. It's one of two ways developers can choose to calculate the fee. Yeah, I think we kind of talked about that. No Contact SpongeBob, which is a great name for an account, says, if I understand correctly, after the first year, if my game made with Unity in 2024 reached more than $1 million and more than 1 million people got it, that's when the fees start applying, either 2.5% my monthly or the original 20 cents. Did I get that right? Yep, they did. Okay, cool. It seems to be people just asking clarifications. Very interesting. Everybody's just asking for clarifications. Nobody seems mad. So that makes me think that people are they're mostly okay with it or glad the changes were walked back. Like I said, it might have been a calculated tactic all along that they'll just kind of take one for the team, put out a really terrible offer, get everybody mad, and then get people and then put out the one that they were going to all along and make people feel like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Yeah, otherwise I'm just not really seeing it's mostly just people asking questions. Here's one person, to Gap. It says, better, yes, but what does this mean to the end users? And will they be able to opt out of data collecting? Which will such apps work offline? Does this tracking already exist in existing Unity apps? Basically, yeah, data is self reported. In some cases, customers opt in to have Unity services integrated into their projects so data is available to us. And it's also that it only applies to customers who upgrade the long-term support version in 2024, are on pro or enterprise plans, and have crossed the thresholds of 1 million in gross revenue and 1 million initial engagements. So by the way, that's not 1 million users. That's 1 million people that at least start an account, even if they quit or they're not regular users. But still, that's still a pretty high bar, I think. So as always, let me know in the comments down below what you think of Unity's decision. Do you agree with my assessment that it may have been intended all along to be that way, or do you think they generally didn't think there'd be this reaction and walked it back? Who knows? But it does seem like people. Like I said, I didn't see a lot of very angry comments in the post, so I think it was at least fairly well received. Let's see. Everyday Algonaut says, I like that they backed off that crazy pricing. He says, do you know how they can calculate the 1 million and they can track Algorand users paying for in-game content? I believe it said that they were self-reported. Otherwise, I'm not sure. It says data is self-reported, so I assume that data includes the $1 million. That might be a good thing for that might be a good question for the Unity in their forum. So I'm not sure, but the way they sounded, it makes it sound like it's self-reported, but maybe they can tell because if the transactions happen through the platform, perhaps they can tell that way. I'm not. That's a very good question. That's me just figuring out. By the way, I did not do charts, so I think I'm going to go do charts next. And then we'll get to our next news item. Because I really want to get to the bullish case for Algorand. Yeah, so right now, Fear and Greed sitting at 38, still, just on the edge of kind of uncertain, between uncertain and fear. Not a lot of action on Bitcoin, just sort of down a little bit on the week, as is Ethereum. So we had that little pump up, and then it just kind of fell off. I just want to see if anyone's up on the week. Curve Dow is up, as is up 21%. Immutable X at 15%, Chainlink up 12%. So we have some coins that are going up quite a bit. PayPay is back up 12%. I still, I actually made a profit on PayPay. I bought, it went up a bunch. I just sold it all, took my little profit, didn't really, and just kept it in Algorand. And now I've got a little PayPay that I got from playing Fractal Monsters when they had their promotion. So that's sitting in a pool in Tiny Man. Not part of the experiment, just something I'm doing. Aptos at 7, Terra Classic at 4, Frax Share. There's stuff I haven't heard of. Conflux, haven't heard of it. Theta, that's been around a little while. S has Maker. Just looking at which ones are in the positive. KuCoin token, 1 Inch Network, Unisublio, Dash, Decentraland, Aave, Zcash, Compound. We're in the single digits. Yeah, even Algorand up a little bit on the week, so it's at least in the positive, just under 10 cents. Now, remember, we had crossed into 8-cent territory for a little while there, high 8 cents, but still 8 cents territory, just a little bit, but nice to see that it's at least one of the ones up and back to 45. That's a good direction. Graph right in front of it at 1.6% up on the week. And I'm just curious, yeah, otherwise these are all pretty much. Oh, there's my Mina, and Mina's sitting at kind of even. Shiba down a little bit. The dollar coins, Huobi, Monero, Pax. Yeah, there's near at that's down to $1.11. Pretty low. That did not pump up the way everything else did. It was very interesting to see. EOS is still around, I guess. Pax dollar is that an arbitrage opportunity for Pax dollar? It kind of looks like it. Sandbox, blah blah blah. Yeah, Hedera down still at 5 cents, down just about a percentage point on the week. And Solana too, not doing so hot at still under 1% down. Very interesting. Hey, Algo Nice, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate having you here. Yeah, by the way, everyone who's watching, if you want to hit the like button, I appreciate that a lot. Let's see what's trending on Prestige. We're going to go through this a little quickly today because I want to get back to our news. Yep, KuCoin and the popular is down. Get effed. It's family channel, so we're going to be nice and PC. Here is up 18%. And another one called Algo Dot, which is just a bunch of dots, and it's where its name should be. That's interesting. That is just up a teeny amount. Like we said, PayPay doing pretty good. The Algorand version of PayPay tracking that, so up 8.5%. Nice to see that. GoMint at 7.6 is up, and Extoge, I don't know. We also have something called Saganyo Dio. Good grief. These are getting harder to pronounce. It's going to take a toll on old Frugal. That one is up 2063x, so that's a lot. I just want to tell you that's a lot. KuCoin is also trending, but it's trending down. And then Guard is actually up a little bit, which is interesting because didn't I cover a story about how Guard was shutting down? Maybe that one would go open source again too. Although it seems like in the last day, most of these coins are largely holding steady, so we're not going to spend a lot of time there. I'm going to take a look at Chain Trail. Oops. Chain Trail leaderboard. This tracks dApps, and they recently added Lofty, so let's see if Lofty shows up on here. Doesn't look like it. Maybe it will be for next week. Maybe it wasn't added yet. Well, it didn't make the top 10, that's for sure. Let's go back. Let's see what we got. Yeah, Planet Watch wins again, followed by Fractal Monsters, and then by TravelX. We've talked about all those before. And rounding out the top 5 is Applied Blockchain and FoxFeed Oracle. Then we got AlgoFi Oracle, Arbitrage Bot, Folks Finance, XBacked, and the Algo Faucet. That's interesting. I may have to look if there's another algo faucet. I may have to look into that. There used to be a lot of those back in the day where you could just earn Algorand for, I don't know, you just had to push a button. Way back in the day, there used to be a bunch of Bitcoin ones, and I had a Bitcoin wallet and I wish I had access to it because it's probably worth like a few $100s now. I mean, it wasn't very much Bitcoin at the time, but you didn't need very much Bitcoin to back then. If you had 0.001 Bitcoin, like that's worth something today, or 0.01, something like that. All right. But enough about that. So I want to talk about the bullish case that I'm going to make for Algorand. Now, I've been critical of Algorand in the past. I am still critical of its price action. I don't think it's the best coin to hold for the short-term price action that you're going to see in the bull run, which should be coming up very soon, because we are very close to the end of where we should be. This is already the longest bear run in history for the crypto market, so we're due for a turnaround pretty soon, I believe, assuming that everything works the way it always has around the Bitcoin halving cycle. We have had some indicators that there's possible it won't. It is possible. Last time our bull market definitely got truncated and didn't go the length it was supposed to. So I'm going to be ready to take some profits on all my coins, including Algorand. But this is why I'm bullish long term on Algorand. We're going to dig into that, and it starts off with this chart that I found very surprising. This really surprised me. And you got to give a shout out to MJ here, because MJ is the one who brought our attention to this. This is the top 10 most loved and hated cryptocurrency worldwide. So let's read the title. I know you guys are skipping ahead and looking at the chart, which you see Algorand on top of loved. We'll get to that. Buying and investing in crypto can be a volatile business. That is true, especially as the market is notoriously unpredictable. Kind of. But some digital currencies are more profitable and less troublesome than others. Worldwide, 59.3% of tweets about Algorand are positive. The most of any cryptocurrency. Now, this is why I wanted to show this, because I'm knee deep in the Algorand ecosystem, and you see a lot of negativity in the Algorand space. But you do see a lot of positive tweets too. I noticed with other stuff like XRP, which interestingly enough is on the negative side, at the top of the negative side, which is crazy. You see stuff like, oh, to the moon, blah blah blah. You never see anything of substance. So what I like about the Algo fam is that there's always substance. Yeah, by the way, I don't really like this whole like, oh, we got to change the Algo fam to something else. Good luck with that. That's not how it works. You don't intentionally change stuff like that. It has to come about naturally, and so I think that's a little silly. But yeah, Algorand at the very top, followed pretty closely by Near Protocol, which we cover on this channel occasionally, and by Clayton. And I've heard of that. I don't know a lot about it. Next up is Decentraland and Tezos. Now, Tezos, I used to own a lot of Tezos, and I sold it all to buy Algorand, actually, interesting enough, and Cosmos. Cosmos and Algorand. BNB is up there, Litecoin, decent. Those are all the ones above 50%. Then you have Axie Infinity, which that one kind of surprises me. And then Solana. Now, I've had some Solana people screeching at me. I actually own a little bit. I bought some just because I think it just tends to pump, and I think it's going to pump in the next bull. I just don't think it's a good project. So long term, Solana is one that I would probably just sell all of it, very likely. And then ApeCoin, interestingly enough. On the negative side is XRP, actually Bitcoin, interestingly enough, followed by, I never see negative stuff about Bitcoin. When I do see it, it's usually from maxis. I think everyone else just kind of accepts that Bitcoin exists and it's the OG, and you just don't think about it. Shiba Inu topping that list. I do have my moon bag of Shiba Inu. And by the way, that's a good strategy. You should, when the bull market hits, you should sell. And what I'm going to do is sell and take profits, but I'm probably going to keep like a moon bag. And moon bag just means I've taken out my initial investment plus some profits, and everything else left is what's called a moon bag. It can go to the moon. If it disappears, you're still in the profit. So you've done proper risk management. Yeah, Cardano is on that list as well as Clayton. So Clayton made both the positive and the negative list. And I think that is the only one that made the top 10. Oh, no, ApeCoin did as well. And Axie. Okay, I'm way off. ApeCoin, Axie, and Clayton all made both lists of negative and positive tweets. Super interesting. Yeah, so this person asked about GF yourself, asked about ApeCoin being on both sides. Actually, there were several on both sides, but it was highest positive tweets and highest percentage of negative. And since the negative are so small, it is possible for it to be on both lists. There just aren't as many negative tweets. I think that's really interesting too. Yeah, I don't think he Shosha, this is a video game developer, one of many that doesn't have a game out yet. Give me a like if you believe in Algorand and that we will see a minimum of $3 per Algorand next year. I don't know about that. That would be pretty close to the all-time high that Algorand had back when it first launched, which it immediately sunk well below that and has never hit that all-time high. It was actually like 313 or 316 or something like that when it first launched, and then just dropped like a rock and never hit that level again. So we'll see about that. So that actually gives me a lot of reason to be bullish about Algorand because their sentiment is so high. I really like that, and it actually surprised me. Now, why else might I think bullishly about Algorand? Well, Python integration into AlgoKit, that is huge. That might be one of the biggest things that happens to Algorand because you just took your user base, your potential user base, and expanded it like orders of magnitude. That is literally orders of magnitude because the number of people who are using Teal versus Python has like millions of developers versus thousands. So that's a big deal. That will be a big thing because it'll just mean a whole lot of people won't have to learn a new language to develop for Algorand. Plus with AlgoKit in general, which is brand new this year, and then they're going to be improving it further, plus the Python integration. That's a big deal. We're going to see something. Continued adoption of Algorand, including the recent migration of Asia broadband from Ethereum to Algorand. In fact, I got something on this. I didn't link to it. Let me just find that really quick. Oh, no, don't do that. Pretty sure I saved it. Yep, here it is. This also comes courtesy of MJ. He's really on top of it. Migration of Asia broadband token from Ethereum to Algorand is scheduled for completion October 1st. That's not very. That's about a less than a week away, I think. Enhanced transaction efficiency, lower costs, and enhanced security. All great reasons to choose Algorand. Well, I totally agree. Why? Why might they switch to Algorand? Well, like he says, much better efficiency, faster speeds. It's going to go way faster than Ethereum, plus the lower costs and great security. Algorand is going to be built for, it's one of the few that's really on the way to be quantum proof, which is excellent. Big thumbs up for Algorand. And by the way, Coin Bureau actually agrees with me. Let's take a look at this. I just found this the other day. And this is pretty recent. This is from September 24th. And here's the pros. Open network available for builders, developers, and users in a permissionless fashion. Yep, ba-bing. I won't do that every time, I promise. Algorand's technology is leading the race in overcoming the blockchain trilemma. I agree with that. I think Algorand and Hedera are both really solid in that. in that aspect. I think Algorand is taking better steps, or at least it's further along the path of becoming decentralized. But I like both of them. Environmentally friendly and sustainable. Totally, as is Hedera. So I want to give a shout out to both of them. Their high caliber team is behind the project, and it was created by MIT professor and Turing Award winner Silvio Macaulay. And I will tell you, I saw him speak at Decipher. Very, very inspirational. It was, you definitely were aware that you were watching a genius in action. Low transaction fees and high throughput ensures Algorand is scalable. We talked about that. Budding DeFi, DApp, and NFT ecosystem. And definitely budding. I think that's fair. Is that it? Yep. A couple cons: less network activity, adoption, and dApps than networks like Ethereum. Yeah, well, everyone's trying to battle the Ethereum network effect. So fair to point out, but yeah, it's pretty much everyone else's. Concern over token distribution and centralization. I can understand that. I think a lot of people were critical of the way some of the funds at the foundation were handled, like the bike donation. People didn't like that, and they've kind of revamped how they do grants. So now Algorand is like an active player in it, so they can make sure that these funds aren't being wasted. I think that's a good thing. Although there are some concerns there too, that they might have their fingers in the cookie jar a little too much. Many consider Algorand a government and a regulation-friendly crypto project, going against cypherpunk libertarian ideals held by some Bitcoin advocates. Yeah, that's fair. I've told you guys all along that I don't think maximum decentralization is the best answer. I think what Algorand's doing is actually a good idea. I think there's some sweet spot, and I think it's more decentralization than like a lot of our institutions operate under, more permissionlessness. But I don't think like going all the way is the best. Usually extremes aren't the best solution. Usually the balance somewhere in between makes the most sense. So this is why I'm bullish on Algorand. This is why I think, even though its price action has tended to be challenging, and it is challenging, and typically has been, other coins tend to pump a lot more. I think Algorand is a good bet for long term. I think it'll be around a while. It's reliable. I think that's one of the best things it has going for it. We're seeing more and more adoption. It's just maybe slower than people would like. I think HBAR's, Hedera's partners have been higher profile and maybe a little more easy to recognize for most people. I still have trouble explaining what the whole Italian bank thing is to people, but they get like, oh, partnering with the next thing we're going to talk about, like partnering on with Freddie Mac on a home loan high yield savings account. Like that makes sense to people, I think. But overall, like I am really bullish on Algorand. I've been more bullish lately because I've just seen a lot of things I like. Another con you might add is that they've had a lot of closures lately. A lot of the projects have washed out. I don't have a sense about whether it's more or less than other ecosystems because I just don't follow them as closely. Like I haven't really seen a lot in Hedera, but I think Hedera's too new to really have a lot of those projects to have gone under. And they seem to be focusing more on institutions than developing an ecosystem of developers. I think that's still in its infant stage. So overall, yeah, I'm a big fan of Algorand. I think it's going to be around for a while. I think it's doing the right things. I think they got John Woods, which is one of the best things they could have going for it. He's basically become the de facto spokesperson, and that's probably a good thing. We shared some of his comments last week, and he always gets you fired up about Algorand. The guy's just good at that, which is rare to come from a tech person. Usually they tend to be behind the scenes type people, but he is one of those rare people that seems to be both. So good for him. He's talked about coming on the channel again, so we'll probably do that. I would love to have John Woods and Stacey Warden on the show sometime around Christmas, so we can call it the Christmas special, but we will do that. Anyway, that's my thesis on Algorand, and I hope you like that. Now let's see what we got here. Algo Nice says, I caught you live again. Thanks for the content. Let's go, Algo. Thank you, Algo Nice. One and only new subscriber. Enjoy the content. Algorand, Cardano, Solana all the way. One and only says, if you can survive multiple bear markets, chance of long-term survival greatly increases. Totally agree with that. And by the way, I've been around This is actually my, believe it or not, this will be my third bull market. The first one I bought a bunch of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, and didn't really know what I was doing, just was dollar cost averaging in. All of a sudden it went crazy. I didn't know about the bull cycles, but I saw it going up and up and up. And then I started seeing crazy stuff where people were borrowing to buy Bitcoin. I was like, this is clearly a bubble of some kind. I need to get out of this. As soon as I saw it just start dropping a little bit, I was like, yep, time to get out. And made like crazy profits just buying and selling Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that. Put it in my investment account and didn't think about it again. The mistake was I should have got back in. So then a few years later, I started reading some stuff about Bitcoin and like learning more about the cycles. And I'm like, yeah, I should buy in a little bit. And I just started buying in some Bitcoin and Ethereum again, started adding some Algorand, some other stuff. And then it went crazy again. And I sold off a little bit, but not much. And then it went back down. And now this is my third bear and bull market. And now I have a pretty good sense of how they work. So I'm pretty much ready for this one. If it goes the same as the other ones, I will be ready to, pad my savings pretty well. Let's see who else is. Algorand says real world use case. This is what I am looking at. I have nothing against JPEG NFTs, but that will not make a chain sustainable forever. Yeah, I had a little argument with Angels something blah 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 on Twitter. I can't remember his name. He hosts a lot of spaces. I had a little bit of an argument about art for art's sake versus like JPEG profile NFTs. And I won't say I have anything against them. If people want to do that, that's fine. But I have no personal interest in them and the whole reward structure and all that. That just, I don't get it. I don't like it. I just don't need it. I like real world utility. I like the Lofty platform, although I got a lot of criticism of them, and I wish they would actually fix some of the things. In fact, this is something that I hope all developers will listen to this. Stop adding new features until you've fixed your core product. Your core product has to be solid. I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but it has to be almost perfect, because that's your main core product. That's what people are going to judge you on. They don't care if you're adding new features if the original thing doesn't work. So you got to make sure the original thing works. And we'll talk about that more when we get into the Townstar story, because that's going to be crazy. Jeffrey says, "Babing." Well, babing to you too. And the one only says, "Agree with you, Algo." Nice. Yeah, cool. I like that. All right. That's the chat. Yeah, I think that's really neat. And I don't think I included any videos today. That usually gives my voice a little bit of a break. But we only got 2 more. I just want to talk about this. Yeah, so speaking of real world utility, Hedera has a new partnership that I think is going to be huge for the company. They're partnering with Freddie Mac on basically a down payment savings program for first-time home buyers. And it's supposed to be huge, quite a bit more than you would get in just a boring old, savings account. So let us take a look here. Actually, this might be the one where we have video. Here we go. This was actually shared by this one we do have a video, so we're going to pull that up in a second here. So in October, we're partnering with Freddie Mac, Hedera, Hashgraph, and Aberdeen to launch Safe Rate Company investment the down payment savings program, where buyers earn 10 times higher returns than a traditional savings account. That's at $36.50, and we might take a look at that. In fact, let's do that now. And I have to remember to turn my mic back on afterwards so we don't have dead air like we did last time.
There's nothing more powerful than you making your thing happen. Really going for it. doing business on your terms.
Of home buyers referred by a real estate agent, housing counselor, or a previous buyer. Safe Rate's network captures these zero-fee referral-based leads and passes on the savings to home buyers through lower rates, with the average home buyer saving over $30,000 over the life of the loan. Down payment, track the mortgage or approve their credit. Home buyers complete their entire mortgage process on Safe Rate. Now, we're also excited to announce that in October, we're partnering with Freddie Mac, Hedera Hashgraph, and Aberdeen Investments to launch Safe Rate Invest, a down payment savings program where home buyers earn 10 times higher returns than a traditional savings account by directly investing into money market funds and mortgage loans on Safe Rate. Our consumer-centered approach makes us stand out from other lenders. We help agents convert more leads, support home buyers from pre-purchase to close, and save our buyers money.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some really cool, interesting stuff on there, but I thought there'd be like a little more than they just put on there. So we're hoping future home buyers earn a higher rate of return than a traditional savings account. This one says, I teach class at University of Chicago, and run a mortgage banker Safe Rate, which also focus on tokenization of mortgage assets in addition to bringing global fellow. This thing's kind of a mess, isn't it? Yeah, this is pretty cool though. I like what they're doing here. I think this will be really helpful for people in the Hedera ecosystem. I'm just kind of looking through this. I don't know. When I looked at it before, I didn't realize that was such a messy tweet. But I think that's anyway. I think that's a really big partnership for Hedera. I think it's great to. It seems like real estate really lends itself well to tokenization because there's a lot of documents and forms that can be verified on signatures and stuff that could be verified on the blockchain. We've seen with platforms like Lofty and Realty that you can have fractionalized ownership on the blockchain, and I will say that that part of it has worked pretty well on Lofty. The part that hasn't worked so well is making sure that the properties are paying on time. Amazingly, I have 16 properties of the 22 that I own not paying, and fortunately, I've invested heavily in the ones now that do pay, so I'm at least getting a halfway decent amount every day. But yeah, there's definitely some issues there, and the platform has been a little buggy, so I'm a little nervous about that. But I like this because this is actually solving yet another real world problem in the real estate space, like the fact that you can have this. And it sounds like there's a bigger story here actually besides just the partnership, but that one is very big. The fact that Safe Rate is going to partner with these companies, including Freddie Mac, which is, I believe, government run now, right? Since the 2008, 2007 crash. I think that was one of the ones that the government took over. So, yeah, we got Freddie Mac in partnership with Hedera and the Safe Rate company and others to create this high yield savings account. I think that's going to be really beneficial to people who are let's say first-time homeowners. Maybe you didn't even have to be a first-time homeowner. Actually, I don't know that you have to be a first time. I may have misspoken there. Yeah, we're helping future home buyers earn a higher rate of return than a traditional savings account and giving them the knowledge that they're directly investing into homeowners and communities. Just a Safe Rate community helping each other. So good for Safe Rate. I think that's a great positive development for Hedera. I think, and it's one of the reasons why I like Hedera. I think Hedera's doing good things. I could make a similar, in fact, maybe I will next week make a similar bullish case for Hedera. Interesting that Hedera did not pop up on that chart of sentiment. So it wasn't either on the positive or negative. So maybe there just isn't a big enough Hedera ecosystem yet, but I think that's coming. I do think that's coming. Let's see what people said. Yeah, so one and only says being a maxi in any project is dumb. I agree. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Algorand and Hedera, but I also look at other coins. I mean, I own quite a few of them because you don't know one of them. It's kind of like I like to think of crypto as being like the startup space. Like some of them are going to fail, some of them will do okay-ish, and probably one or two will just explode. See, Everyday Algonaut says, I won Swiss blockchain hackathon with real estate tokenization platform, but I did not found any VCs to support the project. Wow, that's too bad, man. I think it's a tough time. I don't know how long ago that was, Everyday Algonaut, but it's a tough environment right now. That I know for sure. I think VC money, even not just in crypto, but VC money in general, from what I understand, has really dried up. So the one and only said there will be several blockchains that make it to think one is going to rule them all is ridiculous. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't think one blockchain is going to rule them all. I think Bitcoin will probably be the OG for a while. I think it'll be dominant for a long time. But it doesn't do everything we need it to do. And I've heard people make that argument that it does. And, oh, you just need all this extra stuff added onto it. Well, maybe you just need other blockchains, and that's fine. So good. I mean, good for Hedera. I think Hedera and Algorand are doing the right thing, and it's just a matter of time. Okay, last story, but it's a big one, so buckle up. Oops, I copied the link. You guys know that for a long time I've been covering Townstar, and there was supposed to be some huge news this week, so much so that they canceled the AMA last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, just to focus on this one. And I think everybody was pretty much expecting that they were going to tell us that the earn function has been turned back on. Well, earn was part of the news, but not in a way that's going to make people very happy. The Townstar team announced that it is partnering with Gala Films and a documentary on Gala Films called Common Ground. Part of that change apparently means that the game is going to change its name to Common Ground instead of Townstar and add a whole new game mode to it. Let's look at this. This is very, very interesting. This one I have bookmarked. By the way, I'm going to show you the chat in a second. I wish it was kind of side by side, but the chat will be. We'll go down to the chat once this is finished. Sorry there, I just realized I didn't share the screen again. So here it is. Here it is starting over. Sorry.
But I just shared there an image. Do we have it in YouTube too? Yeah. Okay, we have it there. Thank you. What should I call you? I keep forgetting. Well.
Yeah, by the way, literally nobody asked for this. I don't know why they're changing the name, and you'll see what I'm talking about, but it just seems crazy.
Our trusty technician here in the stream. So what is this that we're sharing? So that's Common Ground, right? So you probably heard it from Benefactor. You know, you've probably seen what Film is doing. And what this is a partnership with the filmmakers of documentaries Kiss the Ground and Common Ground. These are really interesting, in-depth, and very successful documentaries on and films on regenerative farming, ecology, ecosystems, and so on. So we're partnering with them in a big effort, throughout Gala. This is super important to Gala and very personally to Benefactor, because it ties into what he believes a lot about ecology and saving the world, stuff like that, which is very important. So this is a Gala-wide effort spearheaded by our friends at Gala Film. So given this change, we are rebranding the game from Townstar to Common Ground World, right? So we're officially in sync with the film. And the important and cool thing to say here is, well, if you check out Kiss the Ground, you'll see that it has been watched 1 billion times. That's billion with a B. And at least 250 million uniques. So that's a lot of people that have watched those films, are expected to watch the second film, Common Ground. So that's part of what we're trying to tap into by this partnership. They're really excited to do this with us, and we're really excited to do it too.
He hasn't gotten to the real news yet. The fact that they're adding a whole new game mode. This is one of the things with their AMAs. They are just they just seem to have no sense of like what people actually care about versus like you can tell me all that background afterwards, but tell me about the changes that affect me first. This just drove me nuts listening to this AMA, and they like really skip over the big. Oh, by the way, we're rebanding. We're changing the entire name of the game. By the way, we're just gonna like skip over that, gloss over that really quickly, and like go into detail about this film that I'm sure a lot of people on here know nothing about.
So if you want to support the film, the next one, the sequel, which is called Common Ground, right now, Gala Film has a way for people to pay forward tickets to screenings of the film. So, and also each tier has tons of perks for buyers. I'm gonna drop the link here in Discord. So that's the landing page where you can check out what Gala Film is doing. They're basically selling bundles of tickets that you pay forward, so other people can grab them later on and go see local screenings. So we're trying to help this film, which we think has a really important message, get out to a huge masses of people. So you can check out the first film, Kiss the Ground, now on Netflix. Has been there for a while. And you can be on the lookout for local showings wherever you live for Common Ground. And you can try to claim those tickets from Gala. So there's a claim system for the tickets that have been paid forward in our site. Right? So you can go and say, hey, I live New York, California, somewhere where we have early screenings, and you can say, I want a ticket, and you can try to grab one. So what we're doing is not only changing the name of the game, we're also adding a new game mode, which is a start for our persistent town idea we've talked about before, right? So we said we have the idea for the persistent town, we started working on some other stuff, and then we said we have this partnership, which is pretty cool, and it ties really well into the persistent mode.
By the way, yeah, this is the part we're actually interested in. By the way, though, their current game doesn't work properly. Like, there's still bugs that existed. It's the very first time they switched over to the Godot engine. Still not working. I'll talk about those in a minute. But this just drives me nuts. But they're going to add a new mode. It gets better.
So what we're doing is adding a new game mode. I don't know, Vulcan, if you can share the hack main menu that we have right now for it.
Sure. Yeah. Let me paste that up. It's visible in YouTube, and I'll post in Discord in a second. Yeah. So we're adding that third game mode, which Misashi will talk about a little bit.
By the way, I really hope they make a cartoon version of that. It just simply does not fit. It just looks so weird to have like a live action image when you have like a cartoon for everything else. It just makes no sense. Well, it also doesn't make sense that they have like, I don't know if you notice, like the splash screen has kind of a Minecraft looking guy, but then like an actual smooth cartoon character as well. It's pretty weird. But the fact that Like this just looks off.
Right. So we are adding a new game mode called Common Ground or Persistent mode. And in this mode, well, it's your town will start very small, like in a corner of the map, and you will have to build up wealth to reclaim tiles around you. Much of the theme of the films is reviving soil, making sure that um, um, like which ways we have as people and not only individuals but also as institutions and countries to recover uh, spoiled soil and make it be farmable again, right? And help with climate change.
I actually think the game mode idea sounds really good. I think that sounds really interesting. This idea that you have to start in this little square and kind of work yourself out of it as you gain money and you're able to reclaim the soil. I think that's actually a cool game mode. I just think they're out over their skis because their original game, their regular game, doesn't work properly yet.
So that's part of the game mode. You'll be surrounded by this dead earth essentially, and you can build wealth to then revive it and reclaim it, right? So to make it very friendly for new players, because we're expecting a lot of new players to come in, this new game mode will have no gas requirements for trading, no worker wages. There's no leaderboards for stars. This is mostly a casual experience, right? Fast forward will be always on to make it persistent, but it will be the fast one, not the very accurate version that you guys have in competitions that we're still working on, but the very fast one that it's lightning fast. And possibly no proximity effects affecting crops or crafting. We don't want to confuse these new players. It's like, hey, here's just a simple casual experience for farming, and all in all, we're trying to make this new game mode super casual and inclusive to new players. And the idea would be, well, people come in, they kind of like this slow pace thing where they can set up a couple things, come back, try to reclaim some land, expand their town, make some money, and then they can say, well, there's also competitions, right? And that's where they will tie into what you play now and love, which are the hardcore competitions that we have in the current Downstar. So that's kind of the new game mode that we're working on. And to commemorate this new partnership, we'll also be selling the first upgradable NFTs next week. So
Oh, there it is. There's the bell ringer. There's why they're doing this, because there's yet another opportunity for them to sell NFTs. Again, the old NFTs that players bought, where they expected to earn from, still not functional. I mean, you can use them to play in the game, but you can't earn anything from them. But they've had numerous bugs that still go unaddressed and aren't fixed. But they always got time to make new NFTs to make money off players that they're not delivering for. I don't have a problem with people making money, but they're making money from players without providing the core experience that they promised. The game is still in beta. It's still a beta game. It has never not been in beta mode. It switched over to Godot and maybe like reverted to an alpha build. It was so buggy. But now it's back to, I would say it's back to about beta, but there's still bugs that have not been fixed. But they got time for NFTs. Just want to point that out.
we'll have two new NFTs next week. The first upgradable NFTs, also the first NFTs in Gala Chain. There will be the composting facility and the Common Ground Academy. I won't go into much detail about what they do. Well, we'll see that information next week. But both will be sold at level 1, and you can get both of them for $10. And a portion of that will go to charity, right? We're trying to support the charities and the work that Common Ground is doing. So that's part of that effort. The upgrade system is in the works still. Like you will get the level 1 NFTs and you won't be able to upgrade them yet. But that will come down the line. The important thing is that we're not leaving competitions behind. We're not just shelving the old game. What we'll have is this game mode, which is casual, and we'll still have the competition system, which will work exactly as it works right now. So next week we'll have vanilla meta with gallery rewards as we adapt to the new changes and hopefully the new people that are coming in. So that's the news on the persistent mode.
But it's not the big news yet. Just wait for.
I'm catching up with what Vulcan is saying in Discord. Let's see. In case it was, yeah. So this new game mode is slightly different from what you're experiencing. The competitions are very fast paced, very hardcore. This is not that. This is supposed to be slow paced. More relaxing. People can do a couple things, come back a couple hours later, and then add a new building or set something up. More like a farmer game or a old type of casual game. But hopefully some of them will go and say, "Oh, I also want to participate in competitions because that sounds fun," and they'll get into the rabbit hole that you love right now, which is hardcore competing, gala, NFTs, and so on. So that's the information on Common Ground. That's a big news, big marketing push coming from the top. Very important to Gala and Benefactor. Please check out Gala Film. You can buy those paid forward bundles, so you can help the film, you can help the message, and you can get some really cool perks with that. Let's see. Am I missing something, Farmer Michelle?
Not that I can think of. I think you mentioned everything.
Okay. So what's next?
Let me see here. I think we're going to talk a little bit about what we know about the tokenomics and the light paper.
Yes. Okay. So this is a little of great news. Basically, we have the tokenomics in draft, but since we're doing this big change, we had to stop some of that because most of the companies working in this partnership, be it Gala Film, us, everybody else. So we also want to check how the changes to the game.
That's great news. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, there it is. That's the great news. I think that's what he said. It's hard to hear him, and he's got really bad audio, but that's right. They are focusing on, and I'm sorry it took so long to get there. I actually had it bookmarked, I thought, but I didn't. But they're actually, because they're doing this, they are pushing off the earn function again. Now it's going to be pushed back to God knows when. Because they're going to be working on this thing, and it's not like it's finished. So they're going to be working on this thing for a while, which means it's just not going to happen. So all those people that spent thousands of dollars on NFTs, they're basically useless except to play a game that apparently isn't even going to be called Townstar anymore. I think that's really stupid. I think the game name change is really stupid. Townstar was a great name. I enjoyed it as Townstar. I'm annoyed that it's going to be called Common Grounds because that doesn't make a lot of sense for a game like this. Townstar made more sense. Like I actually kind of like the idea of the game mode. I think it sounds really fun. I think it's a good idea. I just don't think they're ready for it because you've got too many bugs. You got to fix your core game first, guys. You got to fix it. And anybody who tells them in the Discord, by the way, they just get booted. They just boot out anybody who points out that, hey, maybe you guys should fix your core product first. Just a thought. Gala does so much that make me angry about Web3 games. I think I like the one thing I like about Champions Arena is at least they launched a game that was functional from day one instead of this whole, we'll just release a buggy game and then we'll fix it later. Nobody wants that. Nobody asked for this change. I forgot. I was going to show you the reaction to this. I think this is really funny. But yeah, this is not how you want to do Web3 games. Let's see what people had to say. People were saying, looking forward to this. Well, I just saw a short of Play to Earn, so I thought that was put on to Works, a movie, not P2E. Aha, false hope. First name says boring. First name says big news is a sales pitch for tickets. Yup. Where is BB? I don't know what that is. Afrofusion Kitchen says F off, sales. Yep. Mr. Z says, oh, great. Advertisement for more NFT for sales. No info on earnings for the NFTs. Everyone bought for the game. Yeah, no, actually there was info. The info is screw you. and we're going to do this other thing. And we don't care that Earn has been off for more than a year now. And we'll get around to it. Everyone's going to work on this other project instead. So, and then First Name says, looks like an in-game advertisement. It basically was. So I think everyone was expecting actual news on Earn, the Earn function, that it was going to get turned back on. And instead, Mr. Z says, watching this was a complete waste of time. Yeah, their AMAs are usually a complete waste of time. They don't answer anything specific. But also, like, they could put all this in a blog and be done in 2 minutes. They make everyone sit through these hour-long AMAs to get the most basic news items that you could get from, like, especially with the information with Godot. I mean, it took forever to get it was so hard to piece together the info because you had to basically have watched every AMA, which is hours and hours. So it was really hard to report on. It was really frustrating. This is yet one more frustrating move from Townstar that has just made a series of frustrating moves. I bought two NFTs from Townstar, and basically I just consider them lost money, like money I just flushed down the drain. So they're not giving me a lot of hope that that's ever going to be better. Yeah, really disappointing from Townstar, and I hope other games take a lesson. Other Web3 games take a lesson from Townstar. This is not how you do it. If you don't deliver a core product to your customer, then your game is useless. Okay, your product is useless unless you deliver on your core product, and that goes for games, that goes for dApps, that goes for everything. Do the thing, make sure it does what it says on the tin. Make sure it does what your customers are expecting. The core experience, the core product, that has to be solid first. Then you can add stuff. There's a ton of stuff I would love to add for FrugalBC, but I know that I have to focus on giving you guys the best news in Algorand and HBAR, and then some stuff around that, including Townstar and stuff. So I'm very careful. There's a lot of stuff I'd love to do. I just don't have time to do it. I'd love to interview all these founders, but I don't have the time to do it. Because I got to focus on what I do best first. And I really wish Townstar would get their act together and start listening to the community. When numerous people tell you the same thing and you just ignore them, and then you do this partnership that for a film, I guess a lot of people watch it. I don't know. Maybe it's a good film. I have no idea. But you got to fix what you have first. That's all I got to say on that. All right. Jeffrey says the rant is amusing. Well, thank you. Hey, Dustin from Taco Coin says great content. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you for watching. By the way, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, I love it if you do that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it'd be cool if you subscribed and join us for all our videos. We do once a week live streams, usually Monday afternoon, and then various video clips throughout the week. Let's see. Everyday Algonaut said he won like $100,000, it looks like, but it was in AWS credits. I mean, that's useful to a degree. I can see that. And that was 2 years ago, he says. Oh, interesting. Okay. Will you be joining? Jeffrey asks, will you be joining Governance 9? Probably not. I'm really just not interested in governance. I should do a video on it, but I just haven't been that interested. Yeah, Jeffrey says the NFTs in Townstar saw Logan Polish. I would say not quite that bad. I mean, they did actually make a game, and I do think Townstar is actually pretty fun. I keep playing it. I keep playing the competitions. I won't spend a cent on it until they get their act together, and I just don't have a lot of indication that they will get their act together. But he likes the rant. I appreciate that. Yeah. I like doing rants. I should rant more often, I think. Well, that's all I got for this week, guys. But yeah, we went 1.5 hours or hour 15. That's pretty good. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check out our channel sponsors, Taco Coin and Non-Fungible Domains, in the link below, as well as other stuff, crypto deals and various recommendations. I take those recommendations very seriously. Lofty has been taken off the recommendations until they fix their bugs to a satisfactory level. Haven't done that yet, so I don't include them, and I've made it clear to them that I won't. Also, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. FrugalBC.substack.algo. If you want to get on our newsletter, you can get some of this stuff ahead of time, ahead of the show, as well as, it'll allow me to be able to reach out to you at some point if maybe I'll get canceled on YouTube. I don't know. Could happen. I don't think so because I don't really talk about political stuff too much, but sometimes I do. I've talked about Gary Gensler a lot, so it's possible. Anyway, just trying to build some independence from platform independence. If you're watching on Twitter, thank you so much. And if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate that as well. Otherwise, let's see. Oh, one and only says Hedera is so centralized and the worst inflation. It is very centralized. I think a lot of coins start out that way, though. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't agree that Hedera is terrible. I think it's just at a different stage, honestly. All right, well, that's it from this week, but thanks so much for watching and stay safe out there. And